All right, what's up, tribe? Let's talk about how to conquer your weaknesses with one simple solution. Okay? Now, I get a lot of concerns about this muscle group or that muscle group is not growing quick enough, right? For the ladies, it's going to be the upper body. Like, oh, I'm trying to trim up my arms, and I just feel like my arm muscles don't really grow. My upper body doesn't really grow. And then for men, it's all about lower body not growing, right? Oh, I can't get my legs to grow. I hate doing legs. I feel like I hit my legs and they don't grow. So I'm going to give you a simple solution on how to turn things around with that, right? And this is backed by common sense, science, and my own personal experience. Okay? So basically, what you want to do is you want to prioritize your weaknesses as the first thing that you attack straight on. Right? So if your weakness is building your lower body, getting some thickness to them legs, Monday should be leg day. TGIM should now be TGIL, right? Thank God it's Monday. Thank God it's leg day, right? That's what it should be. And then for women, you really want to build your upper body strength, muscle size, etc. It would be the same thing, but Monday would either be back or chest, emphasis on shoulders and arms, or whatever the case is. Whatever it is, weaknesses that you want to grow, right? That's what it's going to be. So, from my personal experience, I've always had small legs. I was always a skinny guy, period, right? But even when I put on my muscle mass and I was in the gym early on, right? When I first got started and I was lifting, I saw good upper body growth. I didn't really see good lower body growth, right? And I didn't want to be the guy who skipped leg day and had the little legs, right? I would squat and all that type of stuff. I would deadlift. I would put in the work, right? But didn't really see the growth. Now, here's the thing. You have way more upper body days as a man, typically, than you would lower body days. Now, here's the thing. So, let's say Monday is chest day, typically, right? That's upper body day number 1. And let's say Tuesday is back day. That's upper body day number 2. Now, let's say you have a day for shoulders and arms. That's upper body day number 3. And then finally, your 4th day is leg day. Okay? And then maybe you do something else, like you work on things like traps and calves or something. You know, the bro splits that people follow, right? And now if you look at a lot of my programs, a lot of them start with either back or legs as the first training day, right? Or the first exercises of the program are typically lower body exercises or back exercises, right? Now, in my personal experience, I didn't really start seeing significant results in my lower body until I started my training week with leg day. That's number 1. And then number 2, I compounded the gains and added a second feature, and that was a second leg day. So Monday would be leg day number 1, and then Thursday or Friday would be leg day number 2. Okay? And in doing this, I discovered the upper-lower split, right? And the push-pull leg split. And so what I did was I did the upper-lower, or the lower-upper, I should say, where I had a lower body day, then an upper body day, then a lower body day again, and then an upper body day. So here's how it would look. It would be Monday was lower body, Tuesday was upper body, rest on Wednesday, right, or active rest on Wednesday. And then Thursday was lower body, and then Friday was upper body again. And then Saturday and Sunday was leisure time, right? Hiking, swimming, or what I do is called not drowning, right? Or whatever, spending your time with friends, whatever the case is you want to do. But the big training days were Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. Now, if I did a push-pull leg program, right, instead of being push-pull legs, it would be legs push-pull. Okay? And the reason personally why I did that is because my weaknesses are legs and chest, or at least they always have been. My back grows, right? If you see my physique pictures with my back is thick. I can pull crazy weight, right? But the bench press and the squat, not really where I want it to be. So those things come first. okay? When I started doing that, before I started doing that, my legs would be around, my thighs would be around 23, 23 and a half inches, maybe 24, if I carved up enough for the week. But when I implemented those two strategies of having a second leg day and having leg day on Monday, my thighs went, like within a year, year and a half, my thighs went up to 24 and a half, 25, 25 and a half inches. And they were around 25, 25 and a half inches, right, for a while, which is pretty good. I would be around 180 pounds, 185, with 25-inch thighs, right? And sometimes I would hit 26-inch thighs if I carved up enough for the week. My calories was up there, right? And I had plenty of glucose in these legs. So that told me this is a real deal, right? Now check this out. You can also apply this strategy to lagging muscle groups and apply them on a day-by-day basis. So, sure, you can put a leg day on Monday, but you can also, like, let's say calves, right? Fellas, I know you out there struggling with calves. A lot of fellas struggling to grow their calves, right? Some women struggling to grow their calves, right? And so, what I would do and what helped me, and I've seen this help a lot of other people, is you train your calves in the beginning of your training session rather than at the end. Now, typically, guys will save calf training for leg day. And then at the end of the leg day, they would do 4 different calf exercises and just try to burn their calves out. I've tried this, and sometimes I would skip calves altogether because my leg day would be so crazy. It would be so brutal. You can't even stand. I couldn't even stand to do calf raises. Right? And if you had a real serious leg day, you're shot. Your legs, you're like a baby deer, right? So you do calves in the beginning, which is great because when you do calves in the beginning, you stretch your calves and all that type of stuff. And then when you squat afterwards, you get way more ankle mobility, which means you can get even deeper into the squat. So that's just an added bonus. But I started seeing growth in my calves when I would train calves at the beginning of my training session, right? And you can do this on a lower body day and an upper body day. You can do this 2 times a week, 3 or even 4 times a week, depending on what your body responds to, right? So in the beginning of your workout, you get like 2 calf exercises, even 1, right? Where you can do a weighted calf exercise and you can do a seated calf exercise. And just do 1 or both of those, right? 2, 3, or 4 times a week, depending on what your calves respond to. You do 3 to 4 sets of each, right? At a moderate level, or a moderate weight, right? About around 12 to 16 reps or so, right? Or even 20 reps. You can experiment around with it. People respond differently, right? I can't really give a rep suggestion specifically across the board, but I can say within between the rep ranges of 12 and 20 for those 2 exercises, 3 to 4 sets per session, it does pretty well, right? So I'll leave that up to you, but you can go ahead and play around with that and see if it works for you, right? Now, you can apply this to your training strategies, but you can also apply this to diet. So let's say you're struggling to eat your greens, right? You know, you're trying to eat your arugula and your asparagus and your kale and your spinach and your tomatoes and your cucumbers. You're trying to have your salads, your raw greens. And if you're trying to cut body fat, you need to get in your raw greens, okay? Seriously, okay? When I cut to my 7% body fat, I was eating 3 to 4 cups of greens, raw greens a day, right? So some of them cooked, some of them raw, but I would try to get 3 to 4 cups a day. That's a lot, right? Which is fine because it also works in tandem with a calorie deficit. Because if you're in a calorie deficit, in order to keep from being hungry all the damn time, you get enough of your greens and you get enough fiber in your diet, and your meals are now more satiating. But let me digress from that, right? Because the point is that if you're missing these greens in your diet, a great way to add them to your diet is just have it first thing, right? Your first meal would be that raw salad, right? With the seeds and nuts and stuff like that. Just get a nice big old bowl and just Just make it just a raw salad. Boom, right there. Okay, so if that's your weakness, first thing head on, you address that. First thing, right? Maybe it can be cardio, right? Where maybe you want to go for a light jog or a long walk or something like that, right? Maybe you want to do some type of steady state cardio to oxidize body fat, right? And so typically we do this for prolonged walks. But let's say your day's really busy, so you keep missing your walks. Start your day with the walk, yeah? Right? Start your day. So first thing in the morning, maybe you wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, you walk from 4 to 5, right? You walk your mile and a half, 2 to 3 miles, right? In your walk. And you do that at the very beginning of your day before you do anything else. Wake up, roll out of bed, and you throw on some clothes. You don't need to look pretty. You just throw on some clothes, right? Bring your gun with you because people crazy. I'm playing. But you do that, and that's the first thing in the morning. That's what you're doing. That's a great way to wake up. I've done it, you know. I do it on my way to the gym. You know, when I go and I train at 5 o'clock in the morning, you know, I leave the house at, you know, let's say 4:30, 4:40 or something like that. And I do a nice half an hour to 20-minute walk on the boardwalk, on the beach, or whatever the case is. And that wakes me up, right? Breathing in that salt water. It's nice and brisk outside. There's a breeze, and it feels amazing. And it wakes me up, and it gets me excited. And I can get focused and talk to myself like the nut job I am, right? Do my affirmations out loud in the morning. You know that, nice and loud where everybody can hear me. And then get into the gym and crush it, right? And that's a great way to start your day. Attack your weaknesses first thing. Make your weaknesses first priority. That's the moral of the story.